Okay, and good evening from here in the Philippines. My name is Jane. I am the host of Untold Legends. I'm here with our co-host, Joe Dini of the Legends of the Internet podcast. Good evening, Joe.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be back.
Yes, it's great to be back here, and I'm just posting some messages to make sure that everyone is informed that we're already live. And some of you may be familiar with this topic already. I was giving Joe some mini orientation about the topic that we're having now. And this episode about Seungri is about, although there's a lot about Seungri that happened in the past, most of the topics that would be discussed now would be regarding the Burning Sun scandal. Burning Sun is the club that Seungri allegedly owned, but after the issues have come out, it became vague as to who actually owned this club, because accountability can be a tough thing to swallow. Okay, here we go. Making sure that the broadcast is working fine. It's always the club owner that gets in trouble whenever fist fights occur. From the fist fight to the allegations of sexually inappropriate behavior. That's the one reason why I'm worried that the moment I get monetized, I would be demonetized, because this case, trigger warning to everyone, it involves sex videos, a conspiracy. Thank God doesn't involve murder yet, if you know what I mean. So here, there was a video that was uploaded on the YouTube channel Asian Theory that we would be watching now because it got deleted. The channel is still up, but the video is no longer up. I found it somewhere. You know what happens on YouTube, nothing stays deleted forever, and right now we would be reacting to it in real time. And if ever Jodini would have some comments on this video, I would definitely be pausing this. So here we go.
Hit Korean entertainment. Politicians, celebrities, police, government officials, powerful businessmen, and K-pop idols, all entangled with this ever-complex and growing corrupt syndicate. Prostitution, rape, drugs, bribery, sex tapes. The rabbit hole goes deep, deeper than anyone can fathom. This is the Great Gatsby.
Sounds like X-Files music.
Yeah, you'd realize why.
The truth is out there.
Just a small disclaimer before I start. Everything in this video is based on articles and reports. Nothing that I'm saying is my own opinion. I will not be covering any baseless rumors or any speculation. G-Drake, leader and main rapper. T.O.P., lead rapper. Taeyeon, main vocalist and main dancer. Taesung, vocalist and last. Seungri, lead dancer and the youngest member of the group. Born and raised in Gwangju, South Korea, Seungri often dreamed of becoming an idol, dreamed of making a name for himself. As a young boy, he was noted for his amazing dancing and performance skills. Eventually, he caught the eye of Untold CEO of YG Entertainment. Shortly thereafter, Big Bang was born. Big Bang, they have been dubbed the kings of K-pop and are probably the most influential group in K-pop history to date. All in all, they have won 87 music show awards, 137 awards for music organizations, including Album of the Year, Artist of the Year, and Song of the Year 10 times. So, just how big was Big Bang? Burning Sun staff, which detail some of the repulsive activities going on behind the scenes of the club. Maybe.
Okay, so I had to pause for us to read some of the notes here.
Alright.
These are the group chats. Okay, so one it says, look at the room right now. They're having sex. How can you see that? MD is a managing director or some other, sounds like a bouncer to me. So, how can you see that? MD2, wow, it's true. MD3, going to Hong Kong in burning. And then this quote here was from Dispatch. Dispatch is one of those notorious websites in Korea known for leaking information as horrible as this. Not that they're inaccurate, it's just that it's almost blackmail material. But to read, Dispatch was able to see the video in the club's glass VIP room. Although they couldn't check whether it was against her will or not, it's been confirmed that the videos are recorded and shared among staff. Whoa. Wow, there's so much clubbing going on.
Drugging women or taking drunk women and sexually taking advantage of them. All the while, the activities are recorded by an hidden cameras. Seungri, director of the club, later gives a press statement saying, "First of all, I sincerely apologize to everyone who has been involved in or taken offense from the recent controversy. Due to the controversy, the last few days have felt like an intolerable nightmare for me. So much that I did not know where to begin. Regarding this issue, I have never seen nor heard of such talks. So if I must be questioned during investigation, then I will actively participate in inquiries and hope that anyone who has committed a crime get their rightful punishment. If I must take on the responsibility as an executive director at that time, I will also do so." February 16th. During his concert, Seungri issues apology for controversy at Burning Sun at the Great Gatsby concert. I'd like to speak about the
Okay, February meaning February 2019. So this is the statement that Seungri gave after after this news exploded.
I feel like if I ignore it, people who came today won't feel welcome. I'm very apologetic to all those who care for me. I'm sorry for causing any disappointment to so many people. February 18th. The police start to find that the Burning Sun isn't the only club. They find evidence that linked multiple clubs all over Gangnam and publicly announced they will be investigating soon. An employee's residence.
Okay, Gangnam is the financial district, one of the top financial districts in Korea, the same district that was parodied in the song Oppa Gangnam Style. So you can see how it's one of those high-profile areas that you expect some of these scandals to be found there. It's like it's been going on for high-profile financial districts with clubs, and it just so happened that it exploded this much because it involved a high-profile pop icon, so to speak.
Evidence was searched and multiple drugs were found, including ecstasy, happy balloon, and ketamine, a psychotropic drug. Police then searched to find if these drugs were being used or actively sold in Burning Sun. February 26th. The first big domino falls for Seungri. The Seoul Police Department launches an investigation into Big Bang Seungri regarding claims that he offered escort services of a sexual nature to business investors, also known as prostitution. Text messages were released of a conversation between Seungri and an employee in 2015. Seungri is seen giving orders to plan a meeting at a club to meet with foreign investors. The content of the text messages seemed to suggest that the people involved in the group chat were discussing offering escort services to the investors.
Okay, notice the words used is that he ordered a meeting, so it makes you think how big of a role does he play in the club. Like it's easy to say that he's one of the co-owners or maybe one of those not so executives, not executives, but one of those decision makers. It can really be confusing because if you're one of the decision makers, regardless of your title, then people would really end up thinking how big is your involvement in this issue. You see what I'm talking about, right?
I can't wait to hear more of it because I'm only getting scratched at the surface, but what I've been hearing from the video is, look, this is what happens when you have money.
Yeah.
You get this type of shit.
Yeah, by the way, thank you everyone who came over to support us. I really appreciate everyone watching this and cringing with us. Anyway, let's move on.
YG Entertainment has released a statement denying all allegations, stating, "We have spoken with Seungri, and he has stated that the released text messages were fabricated and are not true. They stated that they plan to take legal action on the issue." February 27th, Seungri is brought into the police for questioning. He said, "This morning, I submitted a petition asking for a thorough investigation into myself. Once again, I apologize for causing concern and anger with the various controversies and accusations. I will earnestly cooperate with the investigation so that the truth can be revealed as soon as possible." Seungri strongly denied prosecution accusations surrounding the person's son and also denied exchanging the messages. He reportedly told the police, "I can't even remember because it's been over 3 years. I have not exchanged such messages."
No, he said, "I don't remember." Okay.
I'm going to investigate myself, but I don't remember.
Meanwhile, YG Entertainment claimed the messages have been fabricated.
There's something inside me telling me, there must be something lost in translation, but it's hard when these things occur. Like, let's continue.
And this reporter, who initially revealed the messages, fired back, stating that the messages are true and there's no reason for it to fabricated. 8.5 hours later, Seungri was released. For all allegations have been fitted. Regarding drugs, I underwent all drug tests requested by the narcotics unit. Many people are angry about the various controversies, and I will cooperate with the police so that all suspicions can be dispelled. Closing said, "I ask that you wait for the results of the investigation. If the police require anything else, I will return for further questioning." Results from the first round of drug tests? Negative. No drugs were found in Seungri's system. February 28th, Seungri canceled all K-pop activities and concerts. March 3rd, preparing to take on all accusations, Seungri appoints a lawyer who used to be a policeman, Sun Young, who has 6 years of experience working in various investigation teams with the police and specializes in working with criminal cases. March 4th, CEO of Burning Sun Club Lee Sung-hyun admits to bribery. He said he gave 20 million won to an ex-police last year that was investigating about a minor entry into the club. Lee Sung-hyun denied all accusations the 26th of February, but now has admitted to bribery. March 6th, the police finally received the infamous Kakao Talk conversations that sparked suspicion against Big Bang Seungri in an Excel file. A report had previously revealed that Kakao Talk chat room that included Seungri and claimed that he offered prostitutes to his investors at a famous club in Korea. YG immediately responded to any reports by claiming that they were fabricated. March 8th. According to an exclusive report on March 8th, Big Bang Seungri will enlist this March 25th as an active duty soldier. Furthermore, if the police wish to summon Seungri for any additional questioning, he will comply willingly until his enlistment date. Both the Army and the MMA confirmed that Seungri will be enlisting to the Chungnam Nongsan Training Center on the 25th as scheduled. Later that day, NBC releases a new report about Seungri's involvement in the club Burning Sun. Previously, Seungri commented through a statement regarding controversies involving the Burning Sun. "Operating and managing the club were not my roles. I was not involved in these roles from the start." He explained that he began with the innocent mindset of wanting to try working as a DJ, but got a good opportunity to become an executive director in charge of promoting at a club. Seungri added, "Since I'm a celebrity, I was in charge of publicly promoting the club." On March 8th, NBC News questioned the validity of Seungri's statement by sharing information from the club's internal documents. In the statement of assets sent by Burning Sun's finance team to the board members, shows the initial investment money totaling about 2.5 billion won. Of this amount, Seungri invested 225 million won. The company's articles of association for 2017 also show Seungri listed as a corporate promoter, a phrase used to refer to someone who worked on the formation of the company. In addition, he is also listed as one of the 4 executive directors, along with Lee Sung-hyun, Lee Moon-hong, and an individual referred to as Kang. Burning Sun's list of shareholders reveals that Yuri Holdings, which Seungri was a co-CEO of, held 20% of the shares. A source of Burning
It's
Sun
not big enough. 20%. Doesn't seem like it.
Well, I mean, 20% for like anything, considering what it is, I mean, that's still a lot.
Yeah. And of course, this club is banking on the celebrity status of one of their executive directors. So it it's like, how involved is he in this endeavor? Because not all K-pop idols get the opportunity to put up their own business, and he's one of those guys that took advantage of it. Now these financial statements are coming out, and of course we have people there at that channel willing to translate these for us. We get an idea how involved is he in his club, and how involved is he by association to the scandal that just broke out. Now, let's continue with this.
It is certain that Seungri was definitely an initial investor. March 10th, with the pile of evidence rising higher and higher, Seungri is booked by police on charges of allegedly violating anti-prostitution. He will now be treated as a suspect in future investigations. A source in the police stated, "We booked Seungri and changed his status to that of a suspect in order to issue a search and seizure warrant and clear Seungri of the suspicion surrounding him." The police has also booked 3 to 4 other people who were in the Kakao Talk group chat and are currently investigating them. Who are these 4 men? The police did not give any names, but said they were singers and people that were actively on TV. March 11th, by far the biggest day of the investigation so far, the day when the world came crashing down. On March 11th, SBS exclusively reported that hidden camera footage and photos were shared in a chat room that included Seungri, 2 other male singers, and others. The report stated that there were approximately 10 instances where footage and photos that were taken illegally were shared in the chat room. Hidden camera footage of photos of men and women engaging in sexual intercourse. Later that day, Seungri comes forward with a shocking announcement. This is Seungri. At this point, I think it would be best if I retire from the entertainment industry. I decided on retiring from the entertainment industry as the issues that I cause a societal disturbance with are too major. Regarding the issues that are being investigated, I will be investigated diligently and reveal all the suspicions. Receiving criticism and hate from the public for the past month and a half, and with the situation of all the investigative agencies in the country currently investigating me, I fear being cornered as the creator of a nation. I personally cannot tolerate causing harm to everyone around me in order to save myself. I sincerely thank all the fans in and outside of Korea who have given me lots of love for the past 10 years, and I think this is where I stop, even if it's at least to protect the honor of liking Big Bang. Again, I'm sorry and I apologize once again. I have been thankful to everyone until now. And just like that, Seungri's journey with Big Bang and K-pop was over. But unfortunately, this is not the end of the story. Police shortly thereafter banned Seungri from leaving the country. That same day, March 11th, another K-pop idol was accused in the scandal, Jung Joon-young, a K-pop idol, actor, and television personality. He first gained recognition in its reality TV show, Superstar K4. It was reported that Jung Joon-young had been one of the celebrities in a chat room involving Seungri and other male singers to share illegal hidden camera footage several times. According to the report, SBS found records of such conversations dating back to 2015 through a restored Excel file. Young Jin-hyun, main rapper for the boy band Highlight, formerly known as Beast, one of the biggest boy bands of the last 10 years, was rumored to be a member of the chat room sharing hidden camera videos and pictures. March 11th, his agency Around Us Entertainment stated, "We have confirmed that it is not Young Jin-hyun. It is a groundless rumor." Young Jin-hyun quickly denied the rumor, stating that the rumor is entirely not true. And when I heard about this content, I couldn't even recognize that such events had occurred. March 12th, after filming in the United States, Jung Joon-young immediately flies back to Korea and is greeted at the airport by a multitude of reporters and photographers. Jung Joon-young has canceled all scheduled activities and is being investigated by police. The Metropolitan Investigation Unit of the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency has indicted Jung Joon-young on charges of violating the Sexual Violence Punishment Act. And then, it happened. The chat logs were released. Just a fair warning, these messages are for mature audiences only.
I would be pausing in between so that we can read.
And are not suitable for those that are easily disturbed. The material discussed is truly vile.
Okay. Kim is one of those in the chat log. Okay, who wants to see a tape? And then somebody replied, me. And then, of course, they sent a video. Okay, then somebody said, we were having, after I fed her with sleeping pills. Lol. Yeah. And then somebody, and then the same person that mentioned that a while ago, that she ate, insinuating that the victim gave him some oral, or that he put his in her mouth. Like, and then JJY, Junjun Young, later on he would be referred to in this story as JJY, because he was then captured or screenshot in the chat saying, "Oh, her mouth is a slut." Like,
Okay.
okay. Okay, another pop star then commented, "What the heck? She's passed out." Then one said, "What do you want me to do about it?" Then that same pop star said, "Send me a video of an awake one." Then Kim said, "Obviously I took it with the flash on because she's passed out." And JJY said, "Lol, you raped her." Then JJY said, "Let's do a meetup online, go to a strip bar and then rape her or slash them in the car." Like, and then somebody said, "Lol," and then one guy said, "We already do that in real life." Then the other pop star said, "True." And then Park said, "Dude, this is like a movie. Think about it for just 5 minutes. We haven't murdered anyone, but we could get arrested for so much."
Why is always that the go-to? We didn't kill anybody when this happened. It doesn't matter. You still ruined somebody's life.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's like, yeah, he did not kill anyone, but they've been living with this for the rest of their lives. Oh, God. Okay, and then another chat log. "I think I'm gonna get drunk and send another 3-second video, bro." Then, sounds delicious. "Oh, they say you need to rip stockings from the middle." "Lol, I'll send you a video." Assuming this is before, during encounter between JJY and a woman.
SBS reporter Untold stated, "I thought very hard about how much information I should deliver. There were things that were worse than the content that had already been reported, things that were simply unspeakable." FNC Entertainment issued a statement regarding speculation that CM's Lee Jong-un and FT Island's Choi Jong-hoon are involved in the recent controversies. Choi Jong-hoon is the leader and guitarist for the Korean rock band FT Island, and Lee Jong-un is the vocalist and guitarist for the Korean pop rock band CM Blue. FNC states that we clearly state that Lee Jong-un and Choi Jong-hoon, who are artists at our agency, have no relation to this incident. Their relationships with the controversial celebrities are only as acquaintances who are in contact with each other. Then, only a day after arriving in Korea, Jung Jun-young is arrested and subsequently drops the biggest bombshell announcement of the incident thus far. "I write to you in shame and guilt. I, Jung Jun-young, once again realized the seriousness of the situation after returning to Korea on March 12th. Although it's already too late, I apologize through this letter to all the people who showed an interest in me and gave me a second chance. In regards to what is being said in relation to me, I admit to all my crimes. I killed women without their consent and shared it in a social media chat room. And while I did so, I didn't feel a great sense of guilt. As a public figure, it was an unethical act worthy of criticism and such a thoughtless action. I will sincerely take part without any falsehood in the investigations that will begin on the morning of March 14th, and I will accept punishment for my actions. I once again deeply apologize. I'm sorry. Jung Jun-young." The reason this is such big news because it basically confirms the chat room does exist and places considerable doubt on Seungri and all the other members of Korea's type following. Shortly after, Jung Jun-young is terminated by his agency, Makus Entertainment. YG Entertainment also terminated Seungri's contract, stating, "After Seungri announced his retirement on March 12th, YG Entertainment has honored Seungri's request to terminate his exclusive contract. As an artist management company, we admit that we have not managed our artists as thoroughly as we should, and we are deeply reflecting on that." March 13th. The hole only gets deeper as the investigation drags on. Messages surface that suggest some of the corrupt members of the police chief himself, were involved in the activities of Seungri's channel.
Okay.
In a chat message to investigate, but they wouldn't get help from the police chief who was watching our backs.
Ooh.
The case became so
Great.
prolific that it reaches the highest court in Korea, the Supreme Prosecutor's Office, and was thus headed by none other than legendary prosecutor Yoon Suk-yeol. Back in 2016, Yoon Suk-yeol played a key part in an investigation of one of the biggest scandals in Korea. The subject, the president of Korea, Park Geun-hye.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that's the prosecutor that would be handling the case. So if he can remove the president of Korea, or South Korea rather, yeah, they might as well be shooting bricks by this time, or by that time that it was reported. So how powerful is the president that the prosecutor just removed?
Most powerful woman in the world, 18th president of Korea, and 46th on the Forbes most powerful people list. On accounts of corruption and influence peddling due to investigation by Yoon Suk-yeol, Park Geun-hye, president of Korea, was impeached and death sentenced to 25 years in prison. Needless to say, he was a powerful figure. Later on that day, FNC Entertainment announces an indefinite hiatus for FT Island leader Jung-hoon. FT Island's fans subsequently called for Jung-hoon to be kicked out from the group. March 14th, Seungri and Jung Jun-young report to the Seoul Police Agency for questioning. Jung Jun-young says, "I'm sorry. I apologize for causing distress and worry to everyone, and I will do my best to sincerely comply with the investigation. I'm sorry." Later that day, Highlight, formerly Beast member rapper Yang Jung-hoon, announced his retirement and departure from Highlight. Jung-hyun previously stated the allegations were entirely not true, makes a statement that says, "I participated in inappropriate conversations regarding it. All of these actions were very immoral, and I was foolish. I treated it as not a big deal, without thinking that it is a crime and an illegal act. And it is my fault for not firmly restraining Jung Jun-young." He goes on to say, "I was a silent bystander about this severe issue, where several more victims may have arisen due to my actions." Subsequently, like dominoes, FT Island member and leader Choi Jong-hoon announces his retirement and departure from the band. "I will repent greatly of my sins for my immoral life, and I will live while reflecting on this for the rest of my life. As of today, I will leave the team and retire from the entertainment industry. I will spend my entire life thoroughly reflecting on my past days when I acted carelessly without any feeling of remorse. I will also diligently participate in future investigations without any falsehoods, and I will accept the punishment I deserve. I am sorry." A chat by Seungri is released to the public. Prostitutes and escorts are provided to clients like fast food on a menu.
Okay, so here are the chat logs with the translation on the other side. So here is attributed to Seungri himself. Okay, girl number one isn't very talkative, but she kind of likes money. Also, she's a girl that isn't very charming while drinking, but her visuals are really good. Then next message, girl number three, her visuals are good and so is her personality. When drinking, she is fun and nice, but the problem with her is that when she gets drunk, she's a wreck. And then Seungri is talking to one of the CEOs, inquiring about the girls, and the question was, what about girl 4? What about girls 2, 4, and 5? Because Seungri only described girl 1 and girl 3, so. And then another message, so let's eliminate girl 1 from the selection. Out of girls 2, 4, and 5, let's see one more. We need more girls like girl number 3. And Seungri replied, number 5 is also good.
And they're doing it by number. They don't these women don't actually have names in their eyes.
It's as if they don't have
After
names.
being questioned for 16 hours, Seungri is finally released from the police station. After being questioned for 21 hours, Jung Jun-young is released. Yoo In-suk, CEO of Yuri Holdings, a company founded by Seungri, resigned from his position following allegations of providing prostitution services. Later that day, CMU's Jong-hyun admits his connection to the scandal. Jong-hyun, who is ashamed and regretful, has accepted the criticism from the public due to his wrong sexual ethics and values, and is deeply regretful and guilty. After what seemed like an eternity, MBM finally releases the names of all 8 original chat
Oh,
members.
God.
The revealed 8 are as follows: Seungri, Big Bang, Jung Jun-young, Choi Jong-hoon, FT Island, Yoo In-suk, CEO of Yuri Holdings, Mr. Kim, Club MD, a relative of a girl group member, referred to as Mr. A, an unnamed
like a
former
mafia
employee of Light
ring.
Entertainment, referred to as
Yeah.
Mr. B, and a friend of Jung Jun-young, who appeared with him on a travel program, referred to as Mr. C. This is a live and evolving case. Many of the details could be changed in the future. There are still many details that are missing, but as of right now, it's accurate as of March 15th, 2019. There's still many questions that need to be answered. Who are these men receiving services from Seungri? Who are the real people in charge of the scandal and prostitution ring? Where else does this network extend to? And who else is involved? Seungri is often called the Great Gatsby of Korea, and even named his solo
Oh, great.
the Great Seungri. This is
Yeah.
because of his modest childhood to now living a lavish lifestyle, which includes owning a nightclub, restaurant franchises, and several other business ventures. A user on Reddit, ChronoDroid, made the comment about the relationship. I remember commenting on a post when his Great Seungri album was announced about whether or not he understood what the novel The Great Gatsby was really about. How in that story, Gatsby is a poor kid who engages in illegal activity to rise to great wealth, but in the end, is murdered and forgotten. It's not all glitz and glamour, although there is a lot of that in the story. It's very much a cautionary tale about how greed and decadence can lead to suffering and the destruction of lives. It's always funny how life imitates art,
Why it's such a
and in
great
the end,
novel.
if Seungri goes down,
Mhm.
it's likely that the truly rich will get away scot-free, like the Buchanans did.
That's what he named his last solo album, The Great Seungri. So,
That's and
okay,
they
so,
used the promotional work from the movie.
yeah. It's actually the part that even some fans are worried about because you know what you called yourself the Great Seungri or the Great Seungri. I mean, like, he's a poor boy who rose to the ranks. He got rich and got rich out of doing these activities, these unscrupulous activities. Like, yeah, it explains why even some of his bandmates are worried about his futures. Like, he's like on a rush to be rich and be some big shot in the future. You know. Let's see. I'm just checking in here. So in this case, it's like everyone worried. Okay, I hope that fixes the microphone that I have here. Been getting some messages about the what do you call that? Strong sounds, background sounds. They're hearing the air conditioning. Wait, I'll just turn it off and then I'll be back quickly. Wait. Finally, yes. Okay, sorry about that. So I haven't seen the film yet because I think it's been made into a movie several times and it's starting to look like a morality tale for everyone that wanted wealth and power. And let's be honest about this. It's one where it's analyzed that Sony wanted wealth and power, and this is the trouble that he got into. So, and the documentary is right in saying that, yeah, which is why I placed the date of the documentary, March 24, 2019. That was the original upload date. I found it somewhere obscure to re-upload and for us to analyze. I mean, look at this one. This looks like fan art. The Great
Yeah,
Seungri really
that's
used that.
that's exactly how Leonardo DiCaprio looked in the promotional art for the movie.
Mm-mm. Although this photo, it looks like it's superimposed on the other on this frame because that's really how he presented himself to be. And also with an album like if you if you're a pop star and you're taking a break from the band and you wanted to be great or at least look great in your solo endeavor, even if you still plan to go back to your old band, it would really look here that yeah, you're really packaging yourself for greatness. Not that I have anything wrong with that. Everyone is allowed to package themselves for greatness, but it becomes a problem when you end up doing some unscrupulous things and yeah, I can't help but comment on that part where girls are not even named; they're simply numbered. Like, what happened to the girls? Like, it's one of those charges that are pinned against him, and also that's why um, that documentary came out before Seungri got officially listed for the military, and there's so many conspiracies going on because there's this report by the news channel or Korean television network SBS where Seungri did not give an interview, but he just sent a statement, and then even the other television networks in South Korea are already discussing on this. It's like everyone is starting to doubt if on how big is Seungri's involvement here. Is like, is it simply because he is the face of Burning Sun Club? Is it simply because you put Seungri on any article and it will generate the clicks or the views or something more sinister? And it's not surprising that other conspiracy theories will eventually pop up regarding this issue. Oops. Because the conspiracies will not go away because if Suri is accused of providing of pimping, let's call it for what it is, pimping. If he is accused of pimping, who are the clients? And that's also another source of issue there. So here we have article by Kibizm, one of those English language websites that translate articles, since these articles are normally published online in Korean. So let me just read some parts of this article. Okay, so a series of scandals just the tip of an iceberg. So many conspiracies are mentioning that the Burning Sun scandal might be related to the families of the South Korea's government officials. That was just mentioned as an afterthought in the documentary. This article, though, tried to analyze that, wherein, to quote the article, in the past few days, the center of attention in Korea right now is the series of scandals from Seungri with many twists and turns. Many businesses of this idol were suspected by the police, and it all started with Burning Sun Club being accused of physical assault, sexual harassment, and drug dealing. Which is why they also mentioned the drugs a while ago, preferably Happy Balloon. Ever since that video of Sony leaked of him having some Happy Balloon, it's said to be a Vietnamese club drug or the kind of drug that was used in some Vietnamese clubs where he also went. There's footage of that circulating on YouTube at the time that this scandal broke out. So, and of course, Yuri Holdings was the company or the holding company where Sony was mentioned as an investor. So here mentioned Yuri Holdings, where Sony used to work as the CEO along with Mr. Yu, actress South Park, Yan Bill's husband. So she's married to a CEO. Is suspected for getting involved in prostitution services. And apparently, the other club, Monkey Museum, is also what an appropriate name for a club, Monkey Museum, and that is also accused of tax evasion. Koreans have weird ways of naming their establishments or their bands. So before, whenever a celebrity got caught with a big scandal, many will immediately refer to it as a decoy to cover up some serious political problem which were happening in Korea at that time. And I have to agree because on my end, I can't help but watch these news sites and notice which topics get reported more and which topics get reported less. It's really sad. So, in this case, however, with so many scandals, the severity of the situation seems worse than expected. All the new details from the police investigation show that this is not simply a gossip in the celebrity world, but a big scale crime. No shit. Sorry, I have to burp. I have to burp before I
Okay.
puke. Okay, so continue with the article. Recently, a journalist from NBC revealed that the scandal of Seungri might involve some family members of many of the Korean government officials. So on Instagram, this journalist, they did not name the journalist, said that the burning sun is just the tip of the iceberg. The final destination that the police and the media wants to reach is the drug dealing association, whose headquarters is at the Arena Club. Oh, another club is involved, which was mentioned in the chat conversation between Suri and his business partner. That chat log was not included in the documentary we analyzed a while ago. Okay, so especially among all the drug customers, they did not mention allegedly of Lee Moon Ho, which is no, mentioned as the best friend and the CEO, and he is also prohibited from leaving the country, and his property confiscated for later investigation. And also there's Kim Moo Sung, current advisor of the Liberty Korea Party. So the post is now deleted, which might explain why the journalist is not named. Okay, here is one of those photos, one of those promotional photos used because I can see the this I forgot what is this called. Wait, 2017, and then of course since they were displaying Sony as the one DJing in the club, of course that would bring in the girls and the other high-paying members. So here, so yeah, it was complimented as a multi-talented idol, can sing, act, DJ, lead variety shows, and while having his own business. So these are the other photos that I used for promotion. So it became an issue. How involved is this? So here is the part where there is a conspiracy about how the government might just be picking on YG Entertainment. YG Entertainment is the agency handling the bands, the boy groups like Big Bang, and girl groups like Blackpink. And um, there was another girl group that they used to manage. It was 2NE1. To read, another conspiracy said YG Entertainment is continuously attacked by many large media sources in Korea due to political reasons. Many sources have revealed YG used to have a close connection with former President Park Geun-hye, you know, that president that was shown a while ago and was sentenced to 25 years in prison for influence peddling and other crimes. The part about influence peddling is quite disturbing. It's like, well, they were really explicit in saying, in calling it the crime as influence peddling. Like, wow. Okay, so this might be the reason why YG grown so large during Park's presidency and started to fall from 2017. Some rumors also said that Yoon Ji-won, member of Sketch Skis from YG, is Park's nephew. So there's another. Um, there were a few words short of calling it nepotism. So, okay. And the netizen commented that they believed that YG had been covered by a greater force when the artist's scandals in the past were always neatly covered, though the severity was always above all other scandals of Korean business artists. Remember when I mentioned last episode on the Sasing episode how Blackpink might be the most protected K-pop group now? Um, in my end, based on my observation, it's like they've been protecting that group because the previous groups that were under this management, under this agency, YG Entertainment, have been involved in several issues, in several scandals. Where here, the typical example is the scandal of Park Bom, former member of 2NE1. Incident broke out in 2014 but was actually discovered since 2010. Dara, CL, and Minzy had to go undergo a drug test that year, but details of the incident were hidden by the police. It was not until 2014 that Park Bomb scandal was released by the press. So it took 4 years for some issues to be released. And then, of course, Many people also questioned YG's involvement in Seungri's business activities. The fact that the company abruptly destroyed tons of documents in the early morning while Seungri took testimony at the police station made the netizen bewildered. So it was mentioned a while ago that, yeah, Seungri submitted himself to the police. Apparently, this was happening in the background. So the question was, did President Yang or YG officials also participate in criminal activities? So another comment read, I heard that entertainment companies are going backdoor with gangsters and powerful people. So, Joe, your observation about mafia was pretty accurate. So here, it's probably more complicated than we think, according to those commenters. So, with the questions regarding these incidents, it is very likely that YG and Sumi's entry into the media sites and the investigation is just the act of purifying the remnants of the Park regime. Like, I mean, they're just, can they just pick on these people because they did something wrong, not because they of who they were associated with? Like, hey, your president's no longer in power. We can pick on you now. That's how it comes across to me, at least. So here, this is the source and one of the websites that publish the news in Korean. Then KBiz, KBZoom is one of the websites that translated. So investigation is still going on, of course, here in Korea. So then it becomes an issue of, yeah, everyone has been attacking or at least criticizing involvement here. So what actually happened between today and the time when the documentary was released, which is why it helped that I had prepared some notes. Let me just remove this uh, for now, and I'd be going on the notes that I've gathered here since there's some articles that immediately noted some of the decisions that occurred because of all the five idols that were exposed for their involvement in the group chat. Only two got convicted. So this is a news item I found on one of the websites that was also reported on allkpop.com. Um, this is the version of the Straits Times in Singapore. Headline states, K-pop star sentenced for rape. Jung Jung Young gets 6 years in jail. Choi Jung Hoon gets 5 years. I find
That's
those
about as much as the guy
sentences,
from Fire Festival got.
yeah, like that's it. 6 years, 5 years for rape. Let me just read this. Okay, this was published back in November 29, 2019. So that's more than 6 months after March. So okay, the quote, almost a year after K-pop scandal broke in South Korea, two artists, JJY and CJH, have been found guilty of the sexual offenses. On Friday, November 29, 2019, a Seoul court sentenced Jung, age 30, to 6 years in prison, and then Choi, not, they didn't mention the age, was given a 5 year term, and the two will also have to go for 80 hours of sexual violence education. They will be banned for 5 years from working with any organization that deals with children and teenagers.
Good.
And yeah, very good. That would kill the livelihood, hopefully. So the two had, continuing with the article, the two had faced charges of gang raping a woman in January and March 2016. So end quote. So, in other words, they did not get in trouble for that issue with the Burning Sun, but because of the Burning Sun scandal. Other uh, other cases like that one in January and March got uncovered. So, to continue with the article, singer-songwriter Jung was also accused of sharing footage of his sexual activities with other women without their consent via a chat room with other celebrities. So, former Big Bang singer Seungri was reportedly among the chat room members. So, netizens said that while they welcomed the news of the punishment, they feel that the jail terms are nowhere close to the pain and suffering that their victims will have to bear for the rest of their lives. End quote. And it's true. So, some of the chat logs were also they were just transcribed here. They did not attach the screenshots anymore. Said, and I quote, on same news article. Earlier this year, the woman in the 2016 incidents had said in a cable show that she blacked out after drinking with some men. When she woke up, she said, Jung Junhoon was next to me laughing. Jung-hoon was next to me laughing. Since I was naked, I asked, what's going on? And they said, you don't remember, and laughed. End quote. So that was the woman's claim. At least she was not named here to protect her privacy, and because she'd definitely be attacked by some of the hardcore fans of these idols. We already discussed on the previous episode how dangerous some of them could be. And going back to the article, of course, JJY defended himself. He claims that the woman was not intoxicated and it was consensual sex. Mm.
Look, his word against hers.
Mm-mm, his word against hers. Except that there were clips, so mm, that might cancel
Oh,
his
there was
defense.
video footage. There you go.
Mm. Well, he's been bragging about it, and it's hard. Yeah. So, of course, the other guy who got sentenced, Choi, was claiming on this same report that he had no memory of the incident and insisted that he did not have sex with the woman. Mm. And this is basically the part where JJY fumbled again. On the same report, it was said that the woman he taped during the sex acts had not objected. Mm, if they were drugged, of course, they will not object. So it's hard to say that a woman has consented to the act if she was either drugged or she's drunk. And if you would look back to the chat logs that we analyzed a while ago on the documentary, some of them were mentioned to be passed out. It's not clear if those uh, women in the videos were the same videos that were mentioned here, but because everything has already leaked, that woman who got raped, who claimed that she was raped, eventually found artillery against these men. So it then eventually led to some agencies, according to the report, to start threatening lawsuits against anyone who spoke negatively about their talent. So agencies like the ones that handled EXO and Twice, if they were they did not file any lawsuits yet. They simply threatened lawsuits, and it would really be an issue because some agencies can really be protective of their talent. Some of them don't care as long as they get to take care of their cash cows. And in this case, I do not expect more that involved this issue with the burning sun unless updates would come up because apparently even if Seungri got deployed in the military, he still got charged for this. So the conflict that arose once that he got deployed was like, are they still going with the charges against him even if he's deployed? And they were like, yeah. So according to a report here, also from K-pop, allkpop.com, this was dated July 6, 2020. It's one of those reports that confirm that Seungri, who was indicted on charges of arranging prostitution for investors and arranging and engaging in overseas gambling will be tried at the Ground Operations Command in Yongin, Gyeonggi Province. So the prosecution handed Seungri over to trial without physical detention in January, that is 2020. However, the date of his first trial has yet to be fixed due to changes in the court following his military enlistment, as of this article. So, according to an official from the Korean Army, on July 5, 2020, Seungri's case was assigned to the Seoul Central District Court's Criminal Arrangement Department. And Seungri enlisted in the army back on March 9th, 2020. So that was a year after, almost a year after the documentary by Asian Theory was released. So after 5 weeks of basic military training at the boot camp, Seungri was assigned to the subordinate unit of the Fifth Corps. So that the news article had to mention that to mention who will be handling the case now. So to continue with the clip or with the article, accordingly, the 26th Criminal Department of the Seoul Central District Court transferred the trial to the General Military Court of the Fifth Court Command on May 15, 2020. However, the General Military Corps of the Fifth Court Command did not directly take charge of the trial and transferred the Seungri case back to the General Military Court of the Ground Operations Command. This sounds as if nobody wanted to handle this case. Like, and then the branch office of the General Military Court filed the case on June 23rd, 2020. So, according to the same report, the exact reason for the transfer is unknown. So that thing I mentioned a while ago, that's just me speculating. Okay. But the actual reason is unknown. So, and according to the report, the transfer is said to be taken in consideration of the gravity of the issue. The transfer as is seen as intended to conduct trials at higher level units and deal them in greater depth. End quote. Mm, I don't know. It sounds worse for me since this sounds like a military court that will be handling this case from now on, and something else might be uncovered if that would be the case. So here, there's this YouTuber I found in the middle of my research on YouTube named Fresh Illumi. Uh, he is explaining. It seems like although it comes across to me that he's a lawyer based in Korea that knows how to speak English. Therefore, he's translating a lot of these news articles for purposes of finding out whether Seungri is innocent or guilty. And if ever he's guilty, how guilty is it, or how big is his involvement? So, which is why I mentioned that here on the middle of the article while reading this article, because they've been thinking if he's already deployed in the military, uh, how deep can the investigation go? So, because it was already reported, also on the same website, that Zoe was previously indicted on charges for gambling several times in Las Vegas and other countries for about 3.5 years, starting back from December 2013. And he was also indicted on failing to report in advance while borrowing gambling funds in US dollars. So in Korean law, it's a violation of the Foreign Exchange Act. Also included in the prosecution's indictment are allegations of arranging prostitution between September 2015 and January 2016 to overseas investors and sending pictures of women's bodies through KakaoTalk. KakaoTalk is the Korean messaging app.
Oh, great. We're
Like,
sending naked pictures.
yeah, it's that bad. So, of course, the CEO that was tagged in this issue, he's the one that admitted to the charges of arranging prostitution and embezzlement at the first hearing held on the Seoul Central District on May 15. So, of course, a female employee was also handed over to trial. She also admitted to the fact that she was involved in the alleged sex trade. So it's like a lot of these other people involved are admitting their guilt. So it's like they're waiting because here's the shady thing about the apology that Seungri made, and this might remind you of the other apologies that you have watched here on YouTube. They would say I'm sorry, but they would not say what exactly are they sorry for.
We're sorry for getting
Although,
caught.
yeah, it's like if I would be commenting on the apology that he made. He's apologizing that YG Entertainment, that his band Big Bang got involved in this. That's what he's sorry for. But for the other things, it's not very clear if he did. So this is where it got confirmed that he will undergo trial for 8 offenses in military court the week after this series of transfers occurred. So here, the first military trial, it took several months for some of the insights to come out, and this is where Fresh Ilumi comes in, a Korean lawyer. Um, his hair looked almost like that of Phoenix Wright, except that it doesn't stand up well.
Can't even
and
get the spiky hair right.
yeah, he can't get the spiky hair right, but he's using some images from Phoenix Wright's court. The part uh in Ace Attorney where there's a courtroom, there are no people, some images, yeah. So he knows what he's doing. So I'll be reading some parts of the I transcribed the video, one of the videos. Be reading parts of it. Okay, so his first day of military trial. Guys, there are 8 charges against him. The charges are the one regarding prostitution mediation, another one regarding the allegation that Seungri himself sought out the adult services, third, the alleged filming and distribution of illegal footage, the next one, habitual gambling, and then the next one, violation of foreign exchange transaction law, the next one, embezzlement of company money, and then the next one is related to that charge, meaning the embezzlement. And then finally, operation of an unauthorized entertainment facility. Some say it's 8 charges, but counting them, sometimes it comes across like 8 charges, but this charge is related to that charge, but they place it in different folders, so it ends up coming across like having 8 folders. And continuing with the video, the main reaction that other commenters sympathized with Fresh Illumi was that, really? You'd be charging all of these to him as well? It's like, and there were some crazy allegations going around, according to Fresh Illumi. So he explained each of the charges in a way that can be explained best to us English speaking people. Okay, so to quote, first off, the charge regarding prostitution mediation and facilitation. This was the allegation that Suri mediated or facilitated the adult services for foreign investors. End quote. So foreign investors meaning investors from Taiwan, because uh, it's not clear who else are investing on Sony's businesses apart from those mentioned in the report by SBS that was quoted by Asian Theory in that documentary. And then you notice how this guy is choosing his words well to avoid getting demonetized by the YouTube algorithm. But in my end, yeah, I'd call for what it is, pimping. Okay, so
Yeah.
going back, yeah, it's what it is. So here, he translated what Seungri replied, and he said that, to quote, he doesn't know anything about that, that he wasn't part of that, and that some articles were mentioned in this video, like the CEO that was mentioned, that it was the CEO and not Sony that was mediating or facilitated the adult services, and that uh, Sony wasn't really a part of it. It can be possible because, to quote Fresh Illumi again, CEO Yu was the kind of actual businessman in the partnership, end quote. So this was where, you're familiar with the situation where a crime happens, and then people start looking for who's accountable for this. How big is their accountability? Like, we're not even sure how big is the accountability involved here, and if it's not clear who is the bigger person or who's more accountable in this issue, then yeah, that's what the trial is for. So, apart from the charge that Sori himself have gotten adult services, here's what he said, and this is how Fresh Illumi translated it. To quote, Sungri said that he doesn't remember having such activity with the relevant woman. And he also said that if CEO sent a woman Sungri's way, that Sungri doesn't know anything about any paid or compensated adult services, end quote. So, in other words, Suri was claiming that, yeah, this guy, the CEO, sent me a woman. I didn't know if he paid for the woman. I just know that he sent her to me. Of course, he did not name the woman.
I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know what's going on. Don't blame me.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like this is where some of the comments on Twitter and Instagram and other forums are circulating. Like, uh, some translation they say were wrong because some reports were translating it as rape, some reports were translating it as sexual entertainment, and
Sexual entertainment?
I'm just quoting one of the Twitter threads that
Yeah.
circulated defending Sungri. Like,
Even then, I've never heard anyone use the defense. Oh, it was sexual entertainment. Like, on whose entertainment are we talking about here?
yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you're going to use words to make a deed less shady, like, I'm not sure if it helps. Not sure if it helps. It's just one a good thing I have the links for some of the threads. I'll be showing them later as well. Um, so going back to the transcript here. So to quote Fresh Illumi, in legal battles, it's important often that you are very accurate in what you say. End quote. I agree with that because you know what? You don't want your foot in your mouth, right?
Oh yeah, you don't want to. Well, one thing is you don't want to give them information that they don't want to hear when you're getting questioned, and you want to make
Yeah.
sure that you refresh everything that you know
Mm.
or everything that happened. So when you go up on trial or when you're having to do a deposition, you know exactly what to say.
Mm.
And if you don't
Exactly.
know, you just say you don't know.
Just so you don't know or you don't remember. Yeah, just say you don't know because saying you don't remember will put you in bigger trouble.
Oh yeah, that's like
I
how can you
should,
not remember that?
yeah, because I'm just familiar with some of these interrogatory tactics. Not because I've been watching some legal dramas in the past. It's more like, um, yeah, it's been taught in law school. There's some things taught in law school, and there's some things that you witness firsthand when you attend a hearing yourself. Like, let's just go back to this transcript. So there's another charge here, and to quote Fresh Illumi, next, the charge regarding the alleged filming and distribution of illegal footage. Now, guys, this was also something that I believe the media really tried to get Seungri by roping him in with some of the other really serious stuff that other people did, like JJY. But at least from the articles, it seemed like whatever he did was not as serious or bad in scope as what some of the allegations regarding the other people were, like JJY. Well, that's all I can say for now. We don't really know specifically, but judging from what he said, that's what it seemed like to me. It wasn't as serious or as bad as the media tried to relate him to other individuals. End quote. Hmm. Because right now, the aftermath of the conviction, after those two pop stars got convicted, they were like, why just them? What about Seungri? What about the other pop stars? What about the other people that got involved in that group chat? And you then realize that proving the involvement of each member of that group chat can be hard. It just so happened that when it came to actual footage, only two turned out to be present. Like, hey, can you prove that these people are right on the scene having a sex with someone incapable of giving consent? And that's what happened. That they can't prove the involvement or how deep is the involvement. The other three pop stars, because five pop stars, two of them got in the slammer. Three of them are still suffering the after effects of this scandal. Like, it's like their careers are basically dead. And right now, it's still Sony that's still getting this coverage. Maybe not as much coverage as before when it first exploded, but still enough coverage to keep the English language websites busy, which is why I had them as references as well. And you have other channels like Fresh Illumi providing perspective, at least a translation, to what's going on, because I don't expect transcripts to come out. So another charge that Fresh Illumi explained here, and to quote, next one, the habitual gambling charge. It, end quote. It was the part where Fresh Illumi tried not to comment about it anymore because people go to Vegas, they gamble. What's new? Maybe it's the source of the money that he used for gambling that might be an issue there. Hence, the next violation or next case accused him of, which is the violation of foreign exchange transaction law. Like, it's the only, of all the allegations, this is the only allegation that Sony admitted to. Because, yeah, I gambled, I used some money to gamble, and that's it. It's like, okay, so which money, if it's his own money, it cannot be an issue, that's his money. But if it's somewhere else, like, it's not even clear if it's his money or not. But so far, this is one charge that I don't see going anywhere, frankly. I might agree with the observation shared here by Fresh Illumi that this charge might not get anywhere. It's like, there's so many charges here. Is this even relevant to the case? Like, maybe if you're just looking for ways to check if he paid any taxes or something, some paperwork involved. So, and maybe that's also why it's easy for someone to admit it. And it reminds me of some cases where the accused had several charges filed against them, and they would only admit to the lesser charges.
Of
Um,
course, so they can avoid less jail time. 'Cause these
yeah.
people, for something in them, they just do not like to go to jail.
Oh, definitely. Because if one of the top honchos of Samsung got in the slammer for some, that was a complicated case. I don't remember. I might read it again because if people from families that possessed old money, yeah, they had to call it old money, end up in the slammer. What more for pop stars who are not exactly that rich? They're not exactly royalty. Maybe they're popular to an extent, but not exactly royalty. And yeah, this happens. So here, which is why it's it's quite, how do I say this? A lot of people are bewildered why the next charge that got included here is embezzlement. So here, Fresh Illumi tried to define embezzlement and to quote. So for those of you who don't know, embezzlement is basically when someone takes money out of their company for an improper purpose. So oftentimes for their own self gain. So this charge has stuck with Sumi for a while. But the thing here is, if he has an explanation for what he did with the money, why is it such a big deal? And it's not like someone from the company has come up and say, "Oh my God, Zuri, he used the company money so inappropriately and illegally." Like, is it there? And yeah, end quote. Because this makes me think: are they the right people that would be charging embezzlement? How about the employees of Burning Sun? Like, how about other people who got the bad end of the deal in this? It's like it's not even clear if they are included among the charges filed, if they are the ones that filed this along with some government agencies. So, okay, so embezzlement is going on, but are they the right people? It's one of those concepts in in law that has been taught to us. It's like, yeah, something is wrong. Something wrong is going on, but are you the right person to file the charges? And it's not even clear who filed this, but it's included among the charges against Sony. So everyone is then asking, why does the prosecutor have to include this among the other charges imposed on Sony? So the last one, or not really the last one, more of the one of the more minor charges involved here. This is where the charge is mentioned as unauthorized or operation of unauthorized entertainment facility. This sounds like Burning Sun Club was operating for quite some time and they did not polish on the paperwork, which is why he's already in military by the time this charge got included among the charges. Um, so I have to quote the opinion that Fresh Illumi shared here. Not sure if you would be sharing this one, but I would read it just the same. Okay, the quote. And this one is, in my opinion, kind of dumb too. It's basically that. One of his clubs or businesses did not have the proper tax or business classification, okay? The only thing about this one is that, it could really just have been a matter of paperwork. The problem was the paperwork. There's nothing much to say, end quote. So those were the issues that came up here on the trial. So it's like, hey, they have a similar procedure to some of the hearings that I've attended in the past because uh, I have to disclose this that I once worked in one of the courts here in the Philippines. I've witnessed trials where, yeah, first trial, here are the pieces of evidence, here are the sequences. First, declare the charges, and then, of course, you ask the accused, how do you plead? Of course, they say not guilty. It's very common. So That's what happened on the first day, which is similar to what happened on the first day as relayed here by Fresh Illumi. He he pled guilty to only one charge, the least charge, which is the illegal gambling. And then he pled not guilty to everything else. So it can be tough to keep track of these trials because there's some Fresh Illumi tends to um, have his legal opinion infused in there. And I understand that he would do that because he's a lawyer, he understands how Korean law is functioning, so he would be explaining it to the rest of us. So here, and which is why on the next video, Seungri's second court day, he made sure to write the disclaimer at the bottom of the video that um, he has no involvement in this case and everyone is allowed to do their own research. So here, this is second military court appearance, all fashioned up in his military getup and mask. So this is where he explained that some of the tactics that defense lawyers are applying in a case. So here he narrated this time on the point of view of Seungri's lawyer. So to quote, getting into the main meat of today's news, Seungri's court appearance. Why did I think it was so profound? Well, I want to start off with a notion that's very well known in the legal world, and that is the fact that oftentimes trials are won or lost before they even start. Now, why do I say that? I say that because oftentimes that what kind of evidence you allow in, what kind of evidence you call out, what kind of process or procedure that you think are right and wrong, all those things heavily affect a trial and they can be dealt with during a trial or they can be dealt with before a trial. So the article that I read, it seems like Suni's lawyer is definitely taking issue with much of the evidence. Is the evidence even reliable? Is the evidence highly prejudicial against Suni? Is the evidence utterly relevant? End quote. Of course, you that sometimes if you're a defense lawyer, there's evidence there, and you don't have anything to refute that evidence. All you have to say is it reliable? Is it relevant? They, I understand them if they would be questioning the other charges that are mentioned here, but the relevance of the issues, it's like this reminded me of that case with O.J. Simpson. They can't pin him on that murder that occurred. He ended up going to jail for something else, right?
Yeah, he robbed the place.
Yeah. Maybe he underestimated his or he miscalculated his ability to get away from crime. Not that I'm saying that he is guilty of anything of that murder. It's just that some of the evidence or some of the pieces of evidence, they sound like a trap anyway. Enough of those of the opinions I have in that case because it really becomes an issue that which is also used in this case with Seungri, like, yeah, you have the evidence, but are they relevant? So, which is why one of the most viewed videos by that Fresh Illumia shared in this channel was the one entitled "If I Were Seungri's Lawyer." So here, to quote again Fresh Illumi, this is why I found it so interesting because of the arguments I made on behalf of Seungri, meaning the video. Of course, it's opinion, or he called it fiction. And I felt like they were at least in the realm of what his actual attorney might be saying. So it will give you a basic understanding of what I'm talking about, end quote. So here, they really, the lawyer who was mentioned in the documentary as a former cop, it became an issue because um, To quote the video, the media used very inflammatory and emotionally triggering pieces of information or non information to ignite the public's emotions. In an actual courtroom, a lot of this stuff I feel like wouldn't even fly. End quote. Well, most of the time, the reports that are published are different from what's going on in the courts. I have to agree on that part when it comes to the lawyer's observation and how this was handled. It's like sometimes I end up thinking this might be another Netflix documentary series coming. Trial by Media, you're familiar with that series on Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of cases because it's becoming common in some of the documentaries that I'm seeing. It's like all this high profile coverage, all this sensationalist coverage, and then by the time it reaches the courts, it's like this is it. Like this won't even fly. This is your best evidence. And then by the time that the accused is acquitted, like there's a public outcry, and of course, I this is why some articles mention that yeah they're only going after Seungri now because he's already in the military, and that uh, the people is not happy that only two of the five pop stars got convicted. Like there should be more convictions, or at least they are trying to get some more. So here they even mentioned the reports that to to indict more, or at least to pin Sony, they were trying to get the testimonies of the two convicted pop stars. So it some news articles come across as clickbait because they were already mentioning on the title that CJH and JJY um, are already informed or already being sought out to testify against Sumi, and then by the time you read the article, that it's not even confirmed that they would be testifying indeed because he may be part of the group chat, but how big is his involvement? So there's a lot that's going on here. And later on, I would be showing the Twitter thread that basically contained all the defenses. People are defending Sungri, not surprising. He still has a lot of stands. So if ever other people involved in the group chat would be sought out as witnesses, it will not be surprising because they would be sharing the story of the involvement of Sungri based on what they know. So this is where Fresh Illumi then mentioned how he admitted getting giddy about some parts of the report because, and to quote Fresh Illumi, it felt like Sungri's lawyer was really using certain strategies or many strategies in court in front of the judge. There's certain things that you do in court, certain strategies that aren't taught to you in law school, that aren't in textbooks, but can only be done by actually being involved in a trial. End quote. So of course it got him giddy since it seems like he got involved in some trials before. So you then realize you get an idea about how some of these tactics come to play, and it doesn't seem like he's using the media to his advantage. I am familiar with other lawyers based in the US thanks to that Trial by Media documentary series by Netflix. I've, I've gotten familiar with some lawyers who like to show off in media to add drama to the reports. It's like they not only report the news, they become the news. So that's how it. And based on the other uploads that followed here, it seems like the trials are going on at least once a month. So There have been several conspiracy theories developing here that are also based on the report that I shared a while ago, because what can be viewed here is like, and what I don't always like is the victim narrative. It's like they make it look like this is, or this talent agencies involved the previous administration. Now they're getting the brunt of the government because they have no one else to protect them anymore. It sounds so dramatic, but as long as we have some of these other pieces of information to check, then that would be one way for us to see everything else. Besides, as mentioned by Fresh Illumi himself, uh, he can only provide a point of view based on what he knows, but point of view when it comes to other research conducted here, that's when you end up analyzing everything else that occurred. So here, for example, we have here a Twitter thread that they're trying to defend him, Seungri, on this series of issues. I'll be sharing that post in a moment. Let's see. My Twitter is on dark mode because I have problems with my eyesight. So I hope you
Yeah, the
understand
whiteness
that.
doesn't help.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, most of them are attacking the credibility of the journalists that exposed this. Uh, because the clip that was shown a while ago, which is also the same clip that was used in other news articles, so they've turned it into a GIF to show that the reporter was getting, or the investigative journalist was getting hammered by some of the bouncers of the club, and then when he sought the help of the cops ended up arresting the journalist instead of the bouncer. So here, okay, they translated some of the articles into English, wherein appellate court sentenced the club MD with 2.5 years prison suspended with 4 years of sentence suspension. Sounds like probation. And then 2 years of protective provision, community service. This sounds like therapy, sexual violence treatment program, and 3 years job restriction. So here are the other. Okay, show this thread. I think there's this feature here. Okay, so other people involved in the Burning Sun Club already got indicted. So this is one of the indictments that occurred. So the case above is not what the police chief announced on July 10, 2019, because the cops have been providing press conferences explaining what happened. So this is basically a thread saying that the police is not telling you everything, and these are the reports. So here's the press conference that was mentioned a while ago, wherein um, police investigation concluded there was no drugging or sexual assault in the VIP rooms at the club, and these allegations were unsubstantiated claims spread by the Korean media. So, other notes here mentioned, and I made sure that this Twitter thread is displayed, so um, anyone who needs to be credited will be credited. It- So, it was mentioned also that the police arrested 42 suspects, three were detained at the time, regarding the Burning Sun sexual harassment video case that has been circulated on some websites. And then Here are the other sentences. That this is the main tweet that I used as a fulcrum or reference a while ago. So that's the thread. It's like everyone, it's like these are the people that got in jail. These are the people that got indicted, that got detained, or were proven to be involved here. It's like they're saying, why do you keep dragging Suri into this case? Other people already got convicted for this. That's one of the main arguments that have been um, shared here. And they even included news links of the original articles posted. With like there were some comments that I've read in other websites there that Naver is not a reliable source for K-pop news, or this site is not a reliable source for K-pop news. It's like on my end, it's so easy to claim that this website is not reliable when the news that they publish are not favorable to your idols. So they are free to criticize or to mention how these websites are not telling the truth about their idols. If they if they can put their detective or investigative skills into issues like these, maybe something can be done correctly. Remember when we were talking about on last episode how good at investigative skills some of these assassins are, except that they're using those investigative skills uh, for for blackmail instead of doing something good out of it. That this is one of those incidents where they can finally use it for good. So let's check the other references here. It's good that I have the links here to show to make sure that the proper parties are credited, because I'm not taking credit for any of this. You conducted this research, and I'm also conducting my research, and I'm using you as a reference. So some of them come from the same Twitter username, others come from related Twitter users, and that's the name of the page, Truth and Facts Only. Since although the description says that the page is on hiatus. Okay, SR. There are some people that are not charged here that are noted. So here, even the Washington Post is oh, even the Washington Post is reporting about this. So here, an article by Washington Post incorrectly portrays Seungri as the center of the K-pop scandal. So of course, they labeled it as misleading, and then of course this Twitter user summarized this article saying that article contains multiple inaccuracies, false assumptions, outdated information, and was not well researched. Article conflates unrelated cases together, confusing Jun Jun Young's allegations with Seungri's, incorrectly linking YG Entertainment with Burning Sun nightclub, incorrectly suggesting that the Burning Sun petitions are related to the allegations against the celebrities, and falsely paints Song as the main suspect when he has no charges and is not part of the Moika sexual assault trial and other celebrities. And the original version of the article named only Songri and Roy Kim, despite making references to other celebrities. JJY, CHJ, and Songri Big Bang are the only ones pictured in the article. So this sounds like one of those articles that are published for the sake of clickbait and not for providing accurate information. I'm not surprised. So here, yeah, there are certain. I can't blame her or him, or whatever the gender of this person is, for debunking certain articles, because sometimes the goal of these articles is in trying to prove that Sungri is innocent, and There are times that they can, so far, they can prove that Seungri was not charged with anything. He was not convicted for anything. The investigation is still going on. And it reached the point, at least one time, um, that the hashtag apologize to Seungri trended because if two pop stars already got convicted for a separate charge, not exactly related to the Burning Sun scandal, then why is the investigation still going on? It's like, one of those cases that ended up giving more questions the more you investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah, this might be one of those cases because Soli admitted to the lesser crimes, he denied other allegations, and now other people are getting the brunt of the fan base for allegedly not reporting the facts because it keeps popping up here. What is the biggest line K-pop? Yeah, that's um, one of those issues that keep popping up is whether it was reported accurately and on whether it was done correctly. On my end, though, I end up thinking, okay, you already convicted two pop stars. Is it still worth pushing through with this guy, this other guy from Big Bang? I'm like, if there's something wrong that happened and there was some conspiracy going on behind the scenes that he needed to pay for it, then yeah, the problem is proving that. And also, there were some also allegations here that came up on the research that the reporter that exposed this thing, he was also accused of sexual harassment by some of the female employees of the Burning Sun Club. So I'm like, yeah, you can attack on the character of the person that was reporting about this, but him being guilty does not automatically absolve solely of whatever accountability he may have had here. Although, yeah, it can always be an issue in some investigations. Like, why would we believe you if you have done this and this and this to other people as well? Like, and I am reminded of that one important thing when it comes to some questioning that, yeah, sure, it was mentioned in the bar question, for example, but is it relevant to the case at hand? Once you get, once you lose track of the facts, you forget the question. Once you forget the question, you don't know anymore who should be prosecuted for this case. And that might be the reason why there are still some articles out there that are involving Seungri in this case. So, which leads me now to thinking, to asking myself whether did the other members of Big Bang foresee this? Because there've been some incidents where, or some clips even, because you know how some of these bands get how some of these bands get exposures. They have their own documentary series. They have their own specials. They have a lot of these. Okay, they have a lot of these other programs going on that displayed the pop stars in a jovial mood. The mood is so jovial, you tend to forget that some serious questions are inserted on the way. So, and I can't blame them for going there because here it's been mentioned that, and this is out of concern, out of out of serious concern for their beloved K-pop member, because Seungri is the youngest member of Big Bang, so it's understandable that some of the older members of the band end up thinking, yeah, we've already warned you about this before. It led to a point that some of them were thinking that one of the members of Big Bang mentioned that, yeah, I hope you still support us, even if there's just the four of us 5 years from now. And another member claimed, um, why do we have to wait for 5 years? So here I'm just checking on the. Let me just shift the screen share here because I'm trying to forward this clip to the part where the other members are already questioning Seungri. Okay, here we go. Please be careful. A lot of them have been telling him about some of the things that he should be careful about. That's the thing. If anything happens to you, they're finished.
Wow, they even go that far. It's like, dude, you're the only thing that's keeping this group together.
Yeah.
And that's what's terrible about groups.
Yeah, because you know what? Although I may disagree on that part that they said, because there are a lot of other talented people in the band as well. The second eldest is.
I was gonna say, if there's anything like NSYNC, we all knew that Justin Timberlake was gonna be the one that was gonna have the career afterwards. Like we knew he was the face of it, and everyone else was just gonna be like on the wayside.
And
So without
that's what
him,
actually
NSYNC would have
happened.
yeah. I mean, everyone saw this coming. Everybody. They knew
Yeah.
he was the talent of the group.
Mm.
もうないですよ。
実行は俺じゃないでしょうが今。
終わるよ、終わる。
実行は俺じゃないよ今。
もう終わりですよ。本当にさよならですよ。
승리잖아요. 사기꾼들 많으니까 조심하세요. 두부 같잖아요. 잘못해가지고.
Oh no! They
Hey,
predicted
Tofu's
it.
not that bad.
No, it's like, prison grade tofu. They're referring to prison grade tofu. Like, you know how tofu tastes like in prison, right? Like, no.
It's like eating solid water.
Oh, yeah. That's the joke. It sounds like a joke, but yeah. Looking back, what happened afterwards, it makes you view these jokes differently. Here you go. He's actually my fave member. This is TOP, and he's coming across as the he may not be the leader. This is the leader, but he always comes across the father figure. He's the guy who ends up observing things at a deeper level and giving advice to the rest of the. And of course, because Seungri is the youngest, he ends up becoming the brunt of all of these advices. Like, yeah, you're the youngest. Of course, he'd be looking after you. So here, they have here.
어느 순간 되게 위험했던 적이 한 번 있었어요. 그러니까 제가 그냥 마티모로서 봤을 때 너무 걱정이 되는 게 많은 거예요. 물론 좋은 친구들도 너무 많지만 이렇게 언뜻 이제 공연장에서 이제 스쳐 지나가면서 사람 인상을 보면은 저 사람.
Oh, there you go. They look strange or dodgy. Like, you know how some of these. It's like he has his own groupie, if that's the case. They look strange. Because of course, he has friends within the band, and then Seungri, the youngest, has a different set of friends that seem dodgy. That's the term that was used here.
약간
좀 이상해야 될 것 같아.
승리를 인간적으로
They don't look like someone that will like Seungri.
좋아해서 오는 게 아니라 승리의 명함을 보고 승리한테 다가온 사람 같다는.
There you go. But because of Seungri's status, they get close to him. Yeah, he really observed that.
기운이 있는 사람들이 있잖아요. 그런 사람들이랑 있고 같이
I get worried about him working with these people.
That's how it starts.
일을 하려고 하는 것들에 대해서 좀 걱정이 되더라고요.
근데 이게 나쁜 사람을 만나봐야
Okay, here he is trying to explain himself. Sometimes you have to meet bad people to know who is good. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but anyway.
어떤 사람들이
사업가고 아티스트예요. 약간 서로 다른
그런
거야.
거예요. 그러니까 추구하는 게 좀 달라.
저희는 웬만해서 다 같이 먹고.
Here we go. The four of us always eat together because let me provide a little background to that. Because Koreans don't like eating alone. They always, if possible, they eat in groups. That's why mukbang existed, because these Koreans are broadcasting their dinners to the world because they like having conversations over food, which is why I don't like how mukbang evolved into something evil. But anyway, here they talked about how they like eating together and
4명은. 그러니까 이게 뭐냐면 다 같이 뭐 예를 들어서 뭐 공연을 저희가 계속 같이 하니까 하고 나서 이제 저희는 당연히 뭐 해외 같은 경우는 저희는 뭐 친구들이 없으니까 당연히 저희끼리
so as members we eat and hang out together.
먹는 줄 알았는데 승리 안 온 거예요. 또
I
왜 안
don't-
와?
But Seungri doesn't come. He's always got other friends. So I'm reminded of that meme. You can't sit with us, and then here he's not sitting with them. Like, these are your bandmates. Why are you not eating together? Like, and they just shared it as a matter of factly, you know.
또 다른 지인이 있는 거예요? 너 왜 안 왔어요? 저 약속이 있어서. 일단 무대에
All the stage is never with us. Eat.
내려오면 저희랑 같이 있질 않아요. 아 워낙에
Got a lot of business to do and parties to go.
Oh, parties.
Parties.
또 이제 일들이 많으셔서
네,
또
일이
사업도
하고 있는 일이
많고 파티도 많고
네, 가장 밥 먹기 힘든 친구고
손은 때 GD 형이 손
GD is a G-Dragon, the leader. This is the guy. And he's the one spilling his guts out. He's sharing. He doesn't sound frustrated. It seems like he's used to this. Or maybe I'm not getting the tone correctly here.
손했네.
접대할 분들이 많아서
그래요. 승리 좀 약간 형들이
So it looks like your brothers are upset.
서운해하는 것 같아요.
멤버들이
Here we go is the clip that I was referring to a while ago. I was thinking, what will us members become 5 years later?
5년 뒤에 어떻게 돼 있으리라고 제가 이렇게 가정을 해서 5년 뒤에 만약에 저희가 또 함께 이런 자리가 있다면 그게 또 이렇게 재미가 있겠죠. 승리 얘기가 많아요. 저희가 많아요. 네. 제가 좀 말을 좀 미리 해드리는 게 낫나요? 아니면 나중에 5년 뒤에
Should I say it now or 5 years later?
5년 뒤에 이게 VIP에게 쓰는 거죠. 네. 비록 우린 4명이지만
Oh God, here we go. Although there's only 4 of us, please keep supporting till the end.
They're already kicking him out before it even happens.
Yeah, it's like, watch the reaction. Wait a minute. See, he's the one reacting on that quip.
It's like, wait a minute, 4 of us. No, there's 5.
왜 4명이에요? 잠깐만.
Yeah. Why is there only 4?
Dude, it should be obvious.
It's like he got the hint.
5년 뒤에 4명이에요.
5 years later, why only 4 members?
그게 한가지 얘기해 주세요.
그런 거죠 지금.
비록 우린 지금 4명이지만 끝까지 우리를 빅뱅으로서 기억해주고 늘 우리 투어를
Here's the thing. He spoke again. TOP. Why do we need 5 years to become 4 members? That's a bit too long. Ooh.
빼는 4명인지가 좀 오래됐을 때네요.
잠깐만요.
Oh no, he's reacting.
늘 투어를 같이 돌아다니고 하느라 힘들지.
Yeah, it's one of those parts of the documentary. Like, you know how these K-pop stars have their own documentaries, sharing their life on the road, sharing their life with each other, and other things. Some of these documentaries even made it to Netflix, and I don't think this is one of those documentaries that made it to Netflix. And it's because it's getting a lot of views on YouTube, analyzing it. Yeah, what do they know about their youngest member? About what other transactions been involved into?
아직 잠깐만요. 예.
Not yet. Okay, he's denying that he'll change professions here.
우리랑 같이 세계 걷고 투어 다니느라
Oh,
힘들겠다.
till now you must be tired of doing tours with us. And this is the leader speaking.
그래도 재밌지 이런 식으로 쓰면서 나중에 우리
Future we will go see our friend Seungri again.
꼭 그 친구 보러 가자.
야, 잠깐만요.
이렇게
면회 가면 될 것 같아요.
그러니까 잠깐만요.
Okay, I have to stop there and make sure that it's one of those clips that got used. Let's see. It's one of those clips that went viral because although it may not be, hopefully, well, it would get copyright claim. I'll just download the backup of this clip later on, wherein they mentioned how maybe they know something about this, that their youngest member is shying a little away, that he's having his own business now. We don't have a problem with pop stars having their own business. It's actually good that they're starting to invest their money into more income generating activities. It just so happened that in the course of trying to earn more or becoming richer, is he forgetting his friends? Which is why I ended up looking at the Great Gatsby analogy all over again. It's like, seriously, does Gatsby have friends?
No. He only had one friend that stuck by him until he got shot. And then there was the love of his life that he ended up losing to like a rich tycoon other than him.
Mm. And hopefully it will not reach that part where he would lose the love of his life. He has no confirmed girlfriend. Dating rules in the K-pop industry are so strict that if you want to end your career, start dating another pop star. That kind of thing. I did not mention that on the sassing episode because it's more of an anti-fan behavior rather than sassing. So there have been some rumors about Seungri dating another pop star within the same agency, of course, because if you're stuck in your own agency, you still have contract going on, and you see the same people within the same agency. Of course, you end up dating them too. So just that, nothing confirmed about his dating life. So we can only surmise about the other parts, like who is his last friend left. And it doesn't seem like it's any of the other members of Big Bang who's currently on hiatus. Some say it's hiatus, others say it's a disbandment. And I will not be surprised if the people that are denying the disbandment ever happening were the ones with, or still fans of Big Bang. Their fan base is called VIP. And a lot of updates are still going on. Some of the updates are still circulating online for the sake of going against the narrative of the people behind the hashtag apologize to Seungri. And there are articles and videos circulating online as well, like that of the Seungri series by Fresh Illumi to debunk any of the rumors going around that Seungri was acquitted. It's like, how can he be acquitted if the trial is still ongoing? It's hard. it's hard to jump to conclusions, especially when there's still so many people involved. And also, not because two pop stars already got convicted, it automatically absolves the rest for their involvement as well. It's just that there will be appeals and there will be other ways that or other crimes that may be uncovered if everyone keeps digging, everyone keeps finding these connections all together, and as long as everyone's still has these speculations um, going on, and as long as we have the fan base who will do everything in their power to find a Seungri innocent, then I don't see this ending within the year. And it doesn't help that the pandemic is going on, which caused some trials to go online. Maybe not public, but still online. So it's been digitized. So I like how you reacted at the part that, hey, dude, you're the only one keeping this together. It's like, mm, not really, but maybe because they're lucky to be in an agency where they are allowed to do solo projects or solo albums. And then by the time that they got over their hiatus, they will be back again. And this is the band that I don't expect to have a comeback project together soon. Maybe a documentary, but not an album. I don't remember any scandal of this high profile in in other pop in that involved other pop stars. I almost mentioned Nexium, but it doesn't involve pop stars. But it's almost as spicy or almost as sensationalized as this case. That if there weren't any English speaking Korean people ready to translate these articles, then you would not get at least a fair view of what is going on so far. Yeah, at least that's how I observed it. Mm, well, hey, we're getting finished a little earlier tonight. Hey, so would you like to share your final thoughts?
That man, I'm speechless on this one, and it's mostly because there's so many. It's just a lot of things to unpack, and it's all because you want to try to. I would encourage people, if you have not read or seen The Great Gatsby, please do so, because you're
Mm-hmm.
going to get a better understanding of why poor people, when they get rich, why they're so desperate to stay rich that they'll
Mm,
do anything to get there.
mm,
They'll do anything to screw everyone else over too,
mm.
even your own close, even the people closest to you.
Yeah,
That's all I could say.
yeah. Don't worry. I would find a way to if not read the book, I would find a way to watch the movie because I don't know. Based on I was told it's like the Leonardo DiCaprio version was the most glamorous, if not accurate. It's hard to present this kind of story without the glamour. You know? So I don't know. I remember some people who try to model themselves after a fictional character because the other guy that I know of that used a book as inspiration to lead his life or at least to live his life was Andrew Cunanan because by the time he got cornered in his little corner before he shot himself, one of the items found in his place was the book Madame Bovary, and Madame Bovary is the story of a social climber. To I will not mince my words about summarizing the synopsis of that book. Somebody tried to turn it into a movie. I think it got stuck in developmental hell, but if you model yourself after a fictional character who has turned herself into a social climber in the high society, expect shit to hit the fan. So here we have another character, or at least another actual person that was trying to model himself based on another fictional character, and that is the Great Gatsby. And he even called his solo album as the Great Seungri. That there are times that I cannot blame some of the fans if they would rather not jump to conclusions on accusing him of doing this and this and this. They would rather go be concerned like, are you sure you're hanging out with the right crowd? Are you sure you're doing this because you're not desperate to stay rich? Are you sure about the involvement that you got yourself into? Because that quip about um, being with bad people only to discover they are actually good people, it doesn't always work that way. Sure, there are people who have been reported bad. They have bad reputations. They have bad reputations for a reason. You're not being judgmental, but at the same time, you are. If you end up with the wrong crowd and you just say that bad people just get into bad decisions, it's like you're giving yourself a pass to commit more mistakes in the future. It's not healthy. It's not good. And that clip with that series of clips with Big Bang would always stay in my head because at least he has friends that tried to warn him about the people that tried around to hang around him, not because of who he is, but because he's a celebrity. So that's that. So I'd like to thank everyone who stayed to watch our insights on how the Seungri case are handled. Others would rather say that this is the Burning Sun scandal case, but if it's just the Burning Sun scandal that would be focused, what happens is we end up not analyzing about the person himself. And was he ruined by cancel culture? Partly, maybe, but it's more like, yeah, these things are thrown your way, and the way you're talking is not helping. Like, yeah, we've seen the clips. It doesn't help. So here, before we end this program, by the way, if we are now open for sponsorships, you can sponsor us using Patreon. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have an active Patreon. I have Subscribestar. I have PayPal. The links are already in the description. And also, we accept sponsorships using Gcash. It's one of those local merchant apps used here in the Philippines that you can simply private message me on Facebook for that. So, which is by the time that we hit episode 7 of season 2 of Untold Legends, we'll be discussing a different trend. A woman that trended on TikTok for the wrong reasons. This might end up becoming a shorter episode as well because she trended on YouTube as well because some of her clips on her trial, yes, she was in the middle of the trial, some clips were then uploaded on TikTok and got viral. The name of the person is Isabella Guzman, and she will be the topic that we will be discussing on next episode of Untold Legends. So, Untold Legends Season 2, Episode 7, featuring Isabella Guzman. We'll be looking forward to sharing this story to you on the next episode. And thank you everyone for staying. We'll be looking forward to um, see you again next Saturday, 9 p.m. Philippine time. That's 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for everyone here in the U.S. That's become a barometer for the time zone. So thank you very much and good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.